speaking about disruption, I mean, these false alarms or whatever could have been easily provoked by some hacker attack or something. So the second part of this workshop is related to the tool, which is basically targeted at researchers, so not at service center. It's important for you because it shows and demonstrates how can be easy to provide a simple career development service. When I say service, I mean respond to inquiry, which is relating to asking questions to some of the most important aspects of career development. The tool has been developed by us and Vitae, you know the organization, which has been heavily involved in the career development initiatives in the different projects in scope of EURAXESS. And I must say I'm so happy to collaborate with those guys because, actually ladies, sorry, because they really provided a great material to form something that is potentially very useful. And it's not only my impression, it has been validated in surveys by focus groups and some different ways. It was promoted actually even really beyond the boundaries of EURAXESS communities. And we got some feedback. We used this feedback to implement some improvements, changes, fixes. So now we have formed a tool. And the only thing that has not happened yet is to publish it on the EURAXESS portal. Currently you can access it by following the links from the Serbian national portal, but this is only a shortcut. You know, this is only there for you and for other people who are interested in seeing and using the tool to make them use. And the link will be very soon published also on the European pages of the EURAXESS portal. It's one of the deliverables of Piper's project. I don't know if you've heard of Piper's. It aimed also developing some career development services. It aimed at mapping some online tools that can be helpful for researchers who want to develop their careers. But the bottom line is that it will be helpful also for you, in case you want to signpost them, in case you want to learn more about the career development, structure your thoughts, and maybe use it as a framework also for discussing with researchers and learning from them and developing gradually this service, also by using ANSYS matrix and tools that will be developed by John's team. So, as I said, the tool can be accessed by from national portal, Serbian national portal currently, and you have this jobs and funding menu. You have career development link. You click there, and you can see there are some different components here on this page. There are 3 components. At the top, you have small introduction into the career orientation tool. Its name currently is No Limits. Exploring careers for researchers is quite ambitious. We didn't consult a focus group for that, sorry. So if you mean this is pretentious, maybe, but we are very proud of that, and this reflects our proudness of the result being developed in the project. As you can see, it looks a lot like a EURAXESS portal. It was developed by using the visual identity of the EURAXESS portal, and the objective was to have this as a component which will be embedded into the pages. And it will be done so very soon, because this last step of integration in the portal will be done in parallel with publishing it on European Union part. So what's the tool? Tool is a journey. Tool is a journey for the career development. Tool is something that provides the meat for introspection of researchers. Tool is something that provides material for them to reflect about the things that are important for career development, to get some materials, to get some information, to get some even access to some tools which can be useful also for this reflection, but also for choosing direction, for making decisions about their future career plans. So basically what it addresses is 4 different areas, 4 different subdomains of career development. The first thing, when you plan to do some big life event, life move, especially when it's related to career, is that you discuss and reflect about your values and motivations. So what makes you, your heart really strong? What makes your determination stronger to go in some specific direction? In case of research, you can see some of the examples of values and motivators on the tool, on the page. You can see also some links to the ways on better reflect on your values and motivation. All these links are in the tool, and you can access them by using a specific search form, which you can also use to filter the display of the results by showing only reflection tools, training aids, psychometric and personality tests, or information resources. You can additionally filter the results by choosing, for example, the ones which are suitable for individual use, free ones, available to buy, books, the ones that are used to generate the report, interactive tools, and so on and so on. We have a big database of these external links to tools, informative material, books, and other online resources in the system. And you can access each of these links by using this search form. You can read a little bit about it, so to decide whether you're going to click and visit it or not. There are some tags which will help you to determine what's behind. There is possibility to share them on the social media. There is possibility to say that you are very satisfied with the link or with the tool which is behind that link, and so on and so on. The order of the appearance of all these results is based on the number of times that this resource has been live. So let's say that most relevant to researcher will be displayed at the top. The final thing that is used as a method to reflect on each of these individual aspects are quizzes. For each of these individual aspects, you have simple quizzes with very basic questions, few questions. It will take a few minutes for your researcher to answer on those. Then, based on the selections, based on what you have answered, a customized report would appear at the end. So this is a personalized thing. This report will not be the same if you answer, when you provide different answers on the questions provided by the tool. And by following this report, you can also go through the specific links behind which are material which will help you to resolve some of the things that are considered as the most relevant according to your choices after the asked questions. Once you determine what are your values and motivation, you might want to recognize, articulate, and see how to develop your skills, expertise, and experience. So in which direction you go, it depends on what you know, but also it depends on what you think you know, and finally it depends on what you can further develop. And here also you can find a tons of material about the skills frameworks, with the tools on how to reflect on your areas for the development, and finally the interactive tools. You can use the material and links and tools provided to develop your knowledge base, cognitive abilities, creativity, self-management, research management, professional conduct, and many other, let's say, transversal or horizontal skills you need to have for some specific directions where you want to develop your own career. Again, there is a quiz which will again help you by following the questions, by providing the answer, to get a customized, personalized report that reflects your needs in the best possible way, with the best possible match. By following the report and clicking on links, it will be, let's say, we could consider this as the best path for browsing through the material which is published in the tool, within the tool. Again, of course, there is direct access to useful links. Again, you can search for them, you can browse through them in the same way is possible for values and motivations. Once you reflect on skills, when you make a decision where to develop, which skills you need to develop for some particular career choice, you need to see what are your options. So you may have some certain values and motivations which are the most important for you in your life. You may have some skills which are important for some specific directions, but at the end, the bottom line is that you're going to have to ask yourself question, can you find this opportunity? Can you find the opportunity to develop in this direction, to find the career path that fits you the best? So here you can get some information about different career options. And the first thing to reflect when you're making career move is whether you are planning to have an academic career. Of course, we all know that it's not a matter of our choice. Everybody wants an academic career, but it's possible for only very, very small percentage of us. Then, whether you want to develop your research career outside academia, in higher education, researcher or non-research career. Do you maybe want to start your own business venture, to start your own business, and so on and so on. At the end, maybe you want to have a career break. So it's one of the possible career paths. Again, there are some useful tools classified in the same way like it was done in previous contexts. Finally, you have everything on the table, and the last thing is to make a plan. And this is something that we don't like to do, actually. We are very proud and we are very happy that we have our choices articulated on the table, but when you have to plan it, when you have to, let's say, combine it with the career choices, with career options we have identified as possible and feasible, it's the thing that it's very difficult to do. So we have to generate self-insight to make sure that all the options are within our reach, and so on and so on. Again, there are very useful links here in the area of professional development planning. As you can see, some of the links will appear in multiple contexts. Why? Because they're relevant for more than one of these aspects of the career development. The last thing I wanted to show as a part of the tool is the quiz. It's a self-orientation quiz, we call it. This is something that is a kind of, is not a summary of the other quizzes, each of which is published in the individual areas of the tool, but it's something that is very simple, which is used by the researcher to define the career goals, or to say if they have career goals, if they're clearly defined, and so on. To reflect about their experiences, to reflect about the professional development planning, and finally to make this first decision, to express their first choice about the main career paths, whether it's academia or not academia, and so on. Again, what you have is personalized, customized report based on the submitted answer, which provide you, we believe, the best way to go through the tool and the order of accessing resources which have been provided in the meantime. Of course, there are some material also for the organizations who provide the advice to researchers, for, let's say, for Career Development Center. Although this tool is aimed at researcher, and basically it can be interesting exercise for you to reflect on your knowledge about the career development, but also I believe it's valuable resource which you can use to inform researchers about and to signpost them. I don't have dates. As you can see, you can publish the tool as soon as now. You can publish it through the Serbian national portal, but soon it will be published in the European portal. I believe this would be the best time to start promoting it, if you like it, of course. So what's your first impression? Would you recommend it to researchers? Yeah?
One thing that I was discussing is that we are all the time, I am Reyes from the Universidad Autónoma de Madrid in Spain, okay? So the thing that I see is that they don't reflect about their careers. It's really good that we have a lot of tools and clear information about different options, but if you're a researcher or a manager or whatever, it comes times in your life that you have to make choices, and it's easy to, it's much more easy if you have the information, but they have to think, and the quiz for me is how to make them think that this is important for you. You have all this information, but I cannot tell you when you have to do these things. This is a quiz for me, how I can tell them to think about themselves. Because for me this is clear. I was saying to Juana that I'm going to do that. I'm going to see what things I know about my values, my motivations, but it's something that it comes from yourself. And for me it's impressive that we can explain to our researchers, okay, we have developed all these kind of things, but you have to think about yourself. I cannot tell you if you should stay in academia or not. I would have my opinion, but congrats, because it's a really good job. I'm impressed.
Thank you, good to know. You know, this stuff, it's easy to access. There are tons of free online resources about career development, you know, and you can make a database of all these resources and access one by one, but the efficiency, the effectiveness of using these tools is close to none, because you don't follow a specific path. You know, there is an order of the things you need to do if you want to reflect about your career development choices. And thank God we had Vitae to propose this methodology and to define the requirements for the, to define this path, to define the conditions for each of the steps in this path. Would you make a, sorry?
Is it possible, I mean, I'm being a researcher right now. I'm going through this and I have answered the quizzes and I got the reports. I want to save them for later. Is it possible for you to sort of, and perhaps you get multiple results or reports for every time you go in there? That's possible. How can you sort of save them for later or pick them up when you...
I'll make a note for that.
Yeah.
It's going to be kind of a little bit difficult because of some technical problems we may have with that, but
because you
I'll
want
try.
the wording,
Yes,
when
you're
you want the grants, or you want to search for another position, you want to sort of get the wording you got in the...
The worst case scenario is that you can copy and paste it, you know, but
Yeah, but you
basic.
should write that then.
Yeah.
Just copy and
Yeah, yeah,
paste,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
we get the instructions.
But you're right. I think we had this requirement to implement some kind of PDF report for, say, for later or so on. Thank you. Brother.
I think it would be nice to have this report directly in the dashboard of the research.
There is no personalization on a personal level. So you cannot log into the tool, and tool cannot use your personal information for...
Save it, like you save an event. You know, when you register to an event,
Yeah.
it comes to your dashboard. Maybe you could save it in your dashboard.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I understand. So to connect it, we did not plan, we plan to make it available for everybody, not only for registered users. But if we make it available for registered, maybe we can do something to, I'll make a note of that. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Can I just
Yeah, okay, sorry. Sorry.
I know Vitae has got something similar. Are there any differences between what Vitae offers and what this offers?
The main difference is that you have to pay for it.
Okay, right.
The second one is that it's a kind of lighter version of this, what's the title, Career Planner or something.
RDF tool, I think.
But RDF is a framework, but there is something like RDF Planner.net or something like that. It's based on RDF and similar to this one, but it's, let's say, more complex. It goes into more details. But I think this is enough. You know, me as a researcher, I enjoyed really using it after 3 months when I stopped hating it because I was developing it.
I have some more questions.
Yeah.
To content, if the content is being updated, at what pace, and who decides what books and links and I don't know, what's getting in there? Are you deciding that? Is Vitae deciding that? Who's responsible for content?
There is no workflow for that. You know, there is no universal truth for career development. So things will change. New tools will appear, but I guess we will have to find some opportunity to change it.
Yeah, because you recommend books and you recommend links on this. Who decides what's getting in that?
In this database, currently there are some resources, and as you saw, you know, the ones who are using it are basically recommending it, but because the results with the most likes will appear at the top. So,
Okay.
so they receive the best priority, you know, in showing off. But the list of results is fixed currently.
Okay.
But you know, if we find some other opportunity to make it, let's say, more sustainable, because there was an issue about whether we are going to allow people from outside to recommend links, and this will be a great practice, but it can create a lot of problems, you know, because you know, there has to be an expert in career development, very knowledgeable and experienced person who would validate the quality of this proposal. And let's not kid ourselves, those who are expert and knowledgeable, if there is something good online, they already know about it. So it's a kind of complicated. I mean, again, in terms of maintenance and sustainability. Barbara?
I'm very much interested since it's a first step and it's for free, it's great for researchers. So if I understand it well, we can implement it right now on our national portal.
Yes, you can implement it right now.
Okay, who should I contact this to?
Me.
A question about that. This should be the WHO who implemented at national level, because I'm in a local contact point where I